I like the way you work it. No digging.
Hi there, welcome to the basenz.com Gear Guides. I'm Matt. Today we're going to talk about how to set up your snowboard. Now if you've never set one up before or put your bindings on yourself, it's a bit of a like, ooh, what do I do? But there's some basic rules to go by that'll get you started. Now first we're going to talk about stance width, and generally a lot of people setting up their own don't go wide enough. These days you definitely want to look at width as being something you want to get a little bit more of, and don't be afraid of going wider or trying it out. Generally your park or freestyle guys are going to ride a wider stance, and generally park and freestyle boards are going to have more options for wide stances. The inserts are going to be further out, so when you look at the board it's going to have more inserts, or the inserts are going to be further down the board. It's going to allow you to get a really wide stance. Wider stances are really helpful. What it's going to do is actually bring you lower to the board when your feet are out, so it's going to bring your centre of gravity down, make it easier to balance. It's going to give you good stance posture as well. What it's going to do is allow you to get really low on the board and be really stable. Now also if you're a really tall guy, go wide. Definitely going to help. If you're a tall guy and you're riding skinny, it makes it really, really hard. And the taller you are, the longer your legs are, really, the wider you should go. Now once you've worked out the width of your stance, you're going to want to work out where you want to put your bindings on the board exactly. Now if you're riding park or you're riding freestyle, you're going to want to run centered. The board's going to be twin shaped, so same both ways. You're going to want your place, use the reference points, which are going to be the center points. They'll be marked on almost every snowboard what center is, and then go the same amount on both bindings out from that point. So that way you're going to keep an even distance from the center of the board to the outside, which means your power to each end and stance on the side cut is going to be even. Now once you've worked out where you want to go, if you're doing park, you definitely want to go centered. If you're riding all mountain, if your board is already set back, you can use those center points and ride on those or refer to them, and they will still keep you on the right part of the side cut, but you will be set back on the board. If you're riding a freestyle board and you want to ride all mountain, you can set it back, so go back a notch and use those as your reference point again. Now if it's a powder day, it's a good idea to set your bindings all the way back. So what you want to do on your back binding, you're going to set up right on the very back ones. But on the front, use the same ones you used, same distance you had between the back binding and the front binding as normal. You want to keep your normal stance width, but have that back binding at the back. What that's going to do, it's going to stop the leg burn, trying to keep the nose out of the snow, in the deep snow, and it's going to make it easier to ride powder. Once you've got your stance placement sorted out, then you're going to want to work out stance angles. Now generally, you're going to want to run a bit of angle, positive on the front, negative on the back. Back in the day, they used to ride like heaps angle on the front and angle on the back. These days instructors don't teach that way. You're going to want to have negative angle on the back. What that's going to do is keep your knees apart, keep you square on with the board, and give you good stance. To start off with, you know, if you've never done it before, try 15 or 18 on the front and -6 or -9 on the back. That'll get you started. When you're a guy, if you've got 15 on the front, don't go more than 15 on the back. You don't want to do more than 30 degrees. It's going to start to hurt your hips quite a bit, and you'll get really sore down on the side of your shins. Now, if you're a girl, you can go bigger than that. Girls are anatomically different. They've got childbearing hips, so they can go heaps of angle. But remember, when you're setting this stuff up, it's personal preference. It's going to take a couple of goes to work it out, so don't be afraid to try different things, change it around. Try more angle on the front, try more on the back. If you're running more angle on the back, it's going to help with your switch riding. It's going to get you in a good stance. If you've got that kinked out there on a duck stance at the back, it's going to make it easy to stay square, and if you want to ride switch, you can just turn your head whichever way you got to go. So that's basically it. You want to look at your stance width. Wider is okay and better, but don't go too wide, and where you place it. Remember to go back on a powder day, but otherwise use the reference point on the board, measure out your stance, and then keep a reference point. Try it out. If it's too wide, bring it in. If it's not wide enough, go out further. And the angles, try different things until you work out the way that you like it. There's no perfect way, there's no way that everybody should do it, so just give it a go. Don't be afraid to mess around and try different things. So that's how to get the bindings on the board. You're watching basenz.com Gear Guide. Check us out in store or online. basenz.com, good stuff online all the time.
I like the way you work it. No digging.